Georgia, the Bossman Show. We're going to take a little break from our Falcons and Cowboys talk to Kurt Helin of ProBasketballTalk.com. See Sports. Kurt, how's things going with you, man?
It's going well. How you been?
Hey, man, I've been good. It would be better if the Falcons were a little bit better. We know the Hawks are tanking, but the Falcons was playing better. We'll have an A-OK life in ATL, man.
It could be worse, man. You're still in a good part of the country, man.
You got there right, buddy. Let's get Kurt. I tell you what, Jimmy Butler's saga is finally over. Tom Thibodeau, Scott Layden, Glenn Taylor finally made the move to trade this guy. Now, the residual effects of this move, Kurt, has the team is on. Are they going to expect Thibodeau going forward, or is he a dead coach walking after this move with Butler, after how he handled it from training camp till the trade on Saturday?
No, I think he was the dead coach walking almost before that, to be honest with you. There was a lot of questions. I mean, people, I know it's been reported a few places. I don't think people realize, like, how close Glenn Taylor, the owner, came to letting Thibodeau go this summer because he knew how bad the locker room situation was. And, you know, especially as Jimmy Butler came to him and said, man, I've been telling him all summer to trade me. And the owner had no idea. So it got ugly for a while. I think he's in a lot of trouble. I mean, maybe if they resoundingly like make the playoffs and make some sort of little run, but right now it's hard to picture that. It would change it around, but he's in a lot of trouble. And remember, the other part of this is what he changed the trajectory of this building team. I mean, remember, they gave up Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, the pick that became part of, a swapped pick became Lauri Markkanen to do this. Like, he went from slowly building this team to, man, we're going to win now. We're going to change this around. We're going to make the playoffs. And it's a mess. And there's a lot of things that got to happen. It's got Karl Anthony Towns has got to do a better job. He can't be as timid. He's got to step up and make this his team. There's some other stuff. I don't know what they're going to do with Wiggins. But at the end of the day, Thibodeau is going to take a fall for this because he changed the course of this team. And then, hey, they made the playoffs last year, but I don't know I don't know which trajectory. I don't know if changing his trajectory and everything he did made this franchise better.
Yeah, I think he made it worse, and I feel for my guy Robert Covington, home with the school with TSU's legs. I feel bad for Sarge's legs and Derrick Rose and Jeff Teague's legs. He's going to wear them out in his last days in Minnesota with the dead old Thibodeau miles.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be. The funny thing is, I think your boy Covington can play well there. I think that actually there's a lot of ways that he could fit with being the 3-and-D wing with Towns is actually a good fit. They just, I don't know if Thibodeau is the coach for that. I think that's the team where I don't know that you're going to see a Milwaukee Bucks type of leap, but you put the right coach in that gets everybody buying in better, and you suddenly see a leap.
Now, Kurt Butler with Sixers, just by default, they have to resign this guy to a 5-year, $190 million deal. They can't let him walk, so he'll be there. But Joel Embiid is a kind of a personality. Him and Ben Simmons are kind of opposites per se. How's that going to work chemistry-wise with those three guys, Butler, Embiid, and Simmons? And how's it going to affect Markelle Fultz, whose confidence is already shaken and broken, and fired his Drew Hanlon, his trainer?
I also start with Fultz. I don't know how to say at this point. He should start texting Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram because they all got thrown in the thick. We're throwing you in the deep end, sink or swim. Like, you're going to do this now or never.
Yes.
And I don't know how he's going to be swimming. Like, honestly, at this point, they've got to consider trading him. But honestly, to get the kind of the Sixers are a win now team. This is the death of the process. With Jimmy Butler there, because his window, I mean, he's going to turn 30. He's going to sign a 5-year deal. To be honest with you, the last couple of years of that deal are going to be trouble. Their window is this season, 2 or 3 after it.
Terrible.
It's going to be. I mean, the end of that contract is going to be, like you were saying, it's Tom Thibodeau miles. Look, to put it the other way, these aren't driving around city miles. These are off-road miles on that guy's body, and he's going to. The last couple of years of that deal are going to be harsh. You're right. That doesn't get done without a handshake agreement for the 5 years, 190. And I don't think he's giving him a discount on the back end of that because he knows it's just going to be. I think that they've got to win now. Fultz doesn't really fit with that. But honestly, if they're going to try to trade him, if they want to get a veteran who helps them now, they're going to have to throw a pick in there because there's not much value with Fultz right now. If I'm Brooklyn or somebody, I might take him on. I'd say Atlanta, except I think you're kind of happy with your point guard. Like,
Yeah.
but I got to see him out here in LA. He looked great. Had that great little run at the end and stuff. But if I'm a team, I might, with a good development program, I might take him on. But I'm not giving you much back. Like I don't need it. You know, I'm not surrendering a lot
Coach
for
Bud
him.
will be good for him, Kurt. I think Coach Bud will be good for him.
No, you could actually. Probably we're trying to develop. But again, Milwaukee. They might be happy to bring him in and think about him long term and develop him. But what are you giving up? I mean, honestly, if you're going to get back a veteran of any decent value from them in that deal, you're going to have to throw a pick in too, because I'm not honestly Fulton was just no trade value.
You got the right, and I don't know. Maybe that injury was that bad, but in college he could shoot. He could shoot in college. I mean, I know he has the years now, but what made him go so south now?
That is someday there will be a 30 for 30. There's a million theories out there, whether it's the injury led to a change in the shooting form, whether it's his trainer before Drew Hanlon, the one before that switched his shooting form and was trying to get a quicker release. Whatever happened, he went from, I mean, you can go, the great thing about YouTube, man, you can go back and look at his college shooting form and you're like, damn, kid can shoot a jumper. Like it's not Ray Allen, but it's fine. Like he's got good form. He can shoot off the move. That was part of the attraction to him. And whatever changed and then started to get in his head, it went sideways. And now you watch him. I mean, do you watch the free throw? I mean,
the pump fake throw.
That's a full double clutch free throw. He's in his own head again, and I think if you got him a trainer with like functional mobility trainer, like one of those guys who can help you build this thing from the ground up, I believe he's probably a great player in there, or at least a good player in there somewhere. Man, it's a lot of work. You got to have a franchise that can and is willing to.
Now, Kurt, I'm gonna tell you this. I was actually in Memphis on Saturday to see Robert Covington play. So I was there when it went down. I saw firsthand how it went down. So I saw folks make that great dunk against Memphis on Saturday night, but I'm like, this guy's shot. I was kind of dejected because my friend got traded away from the Sixers. I came to Memphis to see him play, and he got traded away. So that whole day Saturday was weird for me because I was with Rob, and I saw how he reacted to it. It was just good for how he reacted to it. But seeing folks up close personally, I'm like, this dude he's a head case. I don't know what to say, but the guy is just shot to me.
Yeah, like I said, you could get there. I think with maybe the player's still in there, but Coach, like you said, I think Coach Bud is a good idea. There's some other guys out there, some other programs out there, but it's Utah has everybody sleeps on Utah. They got a heck of a developmental program out there, man. Rudy Gobert.
Hey, remember Quinn was here in Atlanta on the under Coach Bud, so remember he was here. So Quinn, I know he know what he's doing.
So, but he's got to go somewhere like that where they know what they're doing, and there's just not going to be pressure on him to do it for a while, like where he can live in. That's not Philly. Again, Philly's full on win now, and win now fast. I mean, look for them to make moves. Corver rumor is out there and stuff. They've got to make moves. They've got to. That roster doesn't have enough shooting and doesn't have enough depth to get by Toronto or Boston or, frankly, Milwaukee right now.
Hey, I would throw in maybe a Kent Bazemore or Dwayne Edmond. You can have them.
I saw that. I was out Sunday night out here in L.A. watching the Hawks. The Hawks against the Lakers in that game, and I tweeted out during the middle of it. I'm like Kent Bazemore is going to make somebody really happy when they trade him. He's not cheap. I mean, he's making I think 19 and change next year. So I mean, that's the harder part of moving him. But if you're a team like Philly, that's a lot of money to absorb. But Bazemore's exactly the kind of guy you need, who can defend, can hit the three, can just do a lot of little things. That is the same thing. Like once he gets right and healthy, like there's just guys who can help you out, and they can bring back some value to Atlanta.
I would do Chandler and Muscala for Bazemore if I was the Sixers and Elton Brand.
Yeah, maybe.
I would do that deal.
Right now, they got to get Chandler healthy and see what they got. Because right now, honestly, they're going to lean on him a lot. He's got to be that fifth starter, and the kind of the key component for them. But I'm with you. I'd rather have Bazemore. It would be interesting to see what Philly does because they got to be ultra aggressive now. And by the way, they took some cap space just because they've got some money to spend going in the summer just because Joel Embiid and Simmons aren't on their max deal they will have soon. Embiid doesn't kill next year. Simmons is 2020. They got this summer to spend money, and they've got to spend it.
Yes, indeed. Now, last one I hit you, Kurt, is this. Melo and the Rockets. Now, when I first heard this deal, I figured in my head, him and Mike D'Antoni is like, it's kind of going to an X where there's scarring there, and you really can't, this issue's going to pop up again, bubbling over again, it's going to come up in your face, and I feel like this is old scar tissue from D'Antoni and Melo coming up. D'Antoni, yeah, because of Chris Paul and Harden wanted him, he signed off on it. But Melo doesn't fit D'Antoni's system. They work in New York. It wasn't working in Houston. But I think he's being scapegoated right now. It's not his fault they can't defend. They didn't sign a reason. Or Luke Bob Mute. You bring in MCW and these guys who are just not those two defenders. So I feel like he's been scapegoated, but it's not his fault. But the Rockets are flawed because they let guys go from last year.
Exactly. Here's the problem. You're spot on, and I've been writing this too. He's not the root cause of their problems. Like, he is not why they're bad. But he also doesn't fix any of it. It's the other problem. It's like,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they have not shot well until their last game when they finally did. On Sunday night or Monday night, they finally started knocking down threes. But before that, they've really. Chris Paul's been shooting under 30%, under 30%. They just haven't shot the three ball well. Well, that's great, but Carmelo doesn't do that. I've seen, again, another team I've seen in person out here in LA a couple times. They don't communicate on defense like they did last year. They're not on the same page. Maybe bringing back Jeff Bedzell, they backed up the Brinks truck to bring him out of retirement. Maybe they start getting back to that, but their defense has some serious flaws. And like you mentioned, not having Trevor Ariza and Bob Mute, two versatile veterans, but Carmelo again doesn't solve that problem. He just makes it worse. So that's a weird situation, and it's one of those things where I feel bad because I don't like saying bad things about Carmelo Anthony. He's a future Hall of Famer, man. He is an 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, gold medalist, I think 2 times, NCAA champion, and honestly, for about a 5-year stretch in the middle 2000s. Probably as good a scorer as there was in the league, man. He could just go get buckets. He was never terribly efficient, but the guy could get buckets. And that said, his game's moved away from him, and he's the opposite right now of the guy you got in Atlanta and Vince Carter. Because you watch Vince Carter, and he's mentoring Trae Young, and he's playing a role, and he's still making he's still making plays. I mean, he can still get out there, but he knows who he is and what he is, and he's accepted that now. And he's like, this is how I can help this team. Carmelo can't do that. He just can't mentally. He wants to be. I guess the word I'd use, actually, the word is somebody closer to the situation.
He reminds me of Iverson, Kurt, in Memphis. He reminds me of Iverson in Memphis and Detroit, exactly. Where he was not himself anymore, but he still believes he's still that guy, and he would not take a step back.
That is exactly it. I mean, like I said, the guy close to the team that used the word entitled with me. He's like, he's entitled. He feels like he should be treated with deference. And by the way, if you've got a number one type of guy, if you've got James Harden or Chris Paul on that team and they want to sit down with the coach and like, man, I don't think I'm being used right, and you got to do this and that, you can sit down with those guys. If you're Atlanta, you sit down with Trae Young if he's feeling that way, because talent's hard to come by. Elite talent's hard to come by. There's not that many of those guys. You make them happy. Carmelo's just not that guy anymore. And if you're the number 7 guy in the on the team, and he's probably about where he is, he's probably about the 7th best guy on that team at this point, and you've got a problem with your role, then you better fix it. You better figure out how to accept it or play so well they've got to play you more, because the team isn't bending over backwards for you anymore.
You got there right there, Kurt. I got one more for you before you go here, Kurt. Where, when they finally release him, where's his home? I can't find him one right now. I can't find him one.
I wrote this morning, expect this to drag out a while, because I'm not sure. I've spitballed this with people around the league. I will say, I know that people bounced because LeBron is in LA, clipped the Los Angeles idea. I was out there. I know, and I'm not the first person to report this, but I will say that's not happening. From the people I talked to, the one name I kind of heard, like just as a fit on paper, is Miami, but I'm not sure that Pat Riley wants to go there. They certainly are a team that needs a jolt, and he can't. Again, I think there's some things Carmelo could do, but he doesn't solve a lot of it. He doesn't completely solve their problems. If they're searching, grasping around for answers, he can do stuff. But I'm not sure where else, because if I've got a young team, I'm Atlanta, or I'm Orlando, or I'm anywhere, Brooklyn, I'm not taking minutes away from young guys I want to develop and touches away from young guys I want to develop so that I can get Carmelo Anthony in there. And if I've got a championship team, he just proved to me he can't fill a role. So where does that leave you? Like a couple of teams floating around the middle that may get desperate, but it's not many options.
Exactly, and at this point, and I hate to say this, I would say Pat McCall Golden State if he ever signs, like if he ever wises up, Curry and signs his contract over Melo right now in Golden State.
You know
I would
what?
take Melo over McCall right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you. By the way, you know what my goal is? You know what my dream is? No, I want him to go to Washington.
What's that?
I want him to go to the Wizards because if you're going to have a train wreck, let's just go all out with the train wreck. Let's
yes, Dwight Howard there. Wow,
Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony. Let's just throw all of it together and see what happens.
Yeah, that'll be like the Jailblazers 2.0 maybe.
Exactly.
Hey, Curry, good talk to you again, buddy. Look forward to seeing you. All-Star Weekend in Charlotte. Hopefully, maybe I'll see you then. I know the Hawks come back out there to play the Clippers, I think, soon. So I'm coming on that trip for sure. So hopefully I'll catch you then, man.
When you're out here again, I'd love to. And if you're out here with them, that'd be fun. And also, yeah, definitely. Just go to Charlotte. I find there'll be barbecue joints. I'll be in one of them.
Yes, indeed. Hey, get this. Hey, for short, Kurt, it's a longer drive for me, not a flight, a drive up I-85. Nice. So I will be there in full effect that whole weekend, buddy.
All right, I look forward to it. I'll see you there.
All right, Kurt, have a good one, folks. It's Kurt Helin on the Bossman Show.
It's maybe the night that my dreams might let me know all the stars are closer, all the stars are closer.
Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me. You could bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me.
Alexa, play Kendrick Lamar and SZA.
Okay.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
All right, what's back here on the Boss Man Show, joined by the coach of the Fisk Bulldogs in Nashville, Kenny Anderson. Coach, how are things over there at Fisk, man?
Coming along, man. Just grinding. You know, it's a process, so just got to keep practicing, getting these guys to play the right way, play together. It's going to take some time.
Now, Coach, I want to ask you, what brought you to Fisk? I knew about you from Don Mega. I knew about you from him, but I knew you was doing some things with him. But what brought you to Fisk, man, to get you into coaching up there with the Bulldogs, man?
No, I was doing travel ball. You know, I retired. Me and my partner, Bobby Parker, we have a gym out in Tampa called the Clinic, Sports Performance Gym. I've done a lot of stuff out of there, clinics, camps. Then I got my travel ball program, South Florida Elite. Was doing that for 7 years under my guy from New York, Far Rockaway, Louis Velvez, from New York, but he lives in Coral Springs, Florida. So I've been giving back to the youth since I retired. And I just wanted to pay it forward. And I thought this was a good opportunity for me to do that. And this is great for me on the NAIA level, independence. You know, it's going to make me a better coach, a better mentor, a better leader. It's just going to help me out. I'm thrilled. I'm excited about it. It's going to be some work. But, I say this all the time. You can't complain, about stuff you sign up for. So, I'm all in, man.
You got there right. And, hey, Fisk is a great school. Now, Coach, I went to down street to TSU down the road there. So, I know all about Fisk, and I hang on the campus all the time. I shouldn't have, but I was. But, I was a young boy doing that. But Fisk has a lot to offer, a lot of his history, and I feel like you can still have some players to come to being a good city like Nashville, come to HBCU, get a good education, and go on with their life being a great ball player or a great businessman or sociologist, wherever they want to go, they have you as a mentor to lead them in that direction.
Oh man, great! You that's what it's all about. Just being a leader, and the school is already a fine academic institution. The president, Kevin Rome, comes in. He's trying to build a good sports program, and me to be the face and one of the guys that help it, man, it's a challenge. And if I could do this, hypothetically, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, and this stuff is built, and I leave or whatever happens, if I leave and it's in a better place, I did my job. But I'm living in the moment, man. I just, I'm excited for this to teach me. So I'm not sure what'll happen. I might be for 20 years, 10 years, 5. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to be in here coaching, mentoring, leadership, and just enjoying the ride, man.
Now, Coach, going from the travel ball circuit to the NAI circuit. So how adjust for is your practice plans, trying to get guys in classes, trying to get guys ready to go handle being a student and an athlete at the same time. So what's the difference between doing that and being in here at Fisk now going forward?
Well, Dr. Glover, who's been here many years, he's the ex-coach here. He's the athletic academic, the AD here. He's been navigating me through all the process. He's been a great help for me. That's something, it's a grind, as far as with the classes, get these guys to buy in, not only, to sports, but also, getting up in the morning, going to class and just, teaching them about life lessons. So, that's a process, man. This whole thing is a process, and it's going okay right now, but it's a process, and I got to just, stay the course. And it's my first year. I inherited this team. It's none of my recruits, so I just got to, see what happens.
Now, when it comes to recruiting, Coach, now on the NAI level, do you recruit JUCO guys?
Yeah.
Because how's it all working on that level?
I'm in the process of putting guys together that's, going to fit my program. I'll talk to them, sit down with them. The eye test is very important, not just the video as far as they can play, but the meetings and see if they, commit themselves, to the Fisk way of things. I'm just trying to build something here, build a good culture, build a winning atmosphere, and go from there.
Now, during practice, Coach, do you get out there with them in drills and that get them kind of revved up to play against you in practice?
I don't play against them in practice. I might do a couple of drills for them to instruct and tell them what's going on. But those guys are they're in decent shape. They'll run circles around me. But I'm just, I told them this year, I said, listen, I'm going to get in shape. By the end of the year, I'm going to surprise them, and I'm going to go out there and run up and down with them and see if I still got it.
I think you do, Coach. I think you still got it, man.
I got it. I just got to be in better shape.
Yeah, hey. That's it. Them young boys, they're right. You're right. They got the young adrenaline in you. They just gone out the court. They can run around all day long out there these days, man. I know what you mean. Now, Coach, for your scheduling, do you want to have a tough non-conference schedule for your guys to test them going forward? Do you want to kind of, give them some easy wins, give them some confidence? So what's your approach to kind of scheduling here going forward now that you're the head man at Fisk?
I want to have both. I'm trying to go after my school, some of these big programs. Penny's is at Memphis. I went to Georgia Tech. Chris Mullen is at St. John's. So I want to play some of those big time programs so they can fund, my program. It'll be a great look for me to do those type of things with my connections, but just a mixture of competition, stuff like that would be great.
Now, in your playing career and your post-playing career, who have been some coaches, individuals who you've picked their brains about how to get into this business, how you want to approach and help you kind of form your view of coaching going forward for yourself here at Fisk and beyond?
I always talk to my old coach, Bobby Crimmins, who coached me at Georgia Tech, and he's giving me some great advice. A good friend of mine, I met him, late. Darren Walker, who was at Little Rock, Arkansas, he was at Clark, Atlanta. It's good to talk to coaches on this level that you respect. And he's one of the guys I respect. Darren Walker, he was at Clark, Atlanta for 4 years. Did a hell of a job. So, I've always tried to get some information from him, how to build his program. And, it's got so many coaches I can go to, but I want to go to the coaches that I feel that's going through what I'm going through,
Exactly. And like you said, I feel like, more HBCUs should play each other. I feel like that would help uplift them all together because build some more rivalries. Because even my school, Tennessee State, we're in the OVC. We don't really get to play in HBCUs other than you guys. We decide to play you guys each year, But I feel like there should be more non-conference try to bring those schools up because I feel like the traditional HBCUs and how black college football and black basketball could just be a lot of experience and bring us all up together at the same time.
Yeah, we were trying to get into that Morehouse, Clark. We're trying to go Division II next year, so we're going to be playing Morehouse and Clark a lot and some other teams. So we'll see. I think we all, HBCUs, should be all playing against each other. That would be great to have a form, all of us in one conference. But it takes money, and you know how they treat the HBCUs. like stepchild. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, you know what I'm saying? So you just got to deal with it.
Yeah, man. Then they don't want to really pay on them money games. They don't really pay them, but they pay some other schools.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I've been in office with Tennessee State with Dana Ford, Travis Williams. I've seen them try to get games done, how hard they had to do, and just trying to pull teeth to get something done. So I understand that, Coach, for real, man. Let me ask you this now: since you've been head coach here up there in Nashville, talk to me about the city of Nashville itself. How it has been treating you over there in Nashville? You enjoying the hot chicken, the barbecue, the ambiance? How you liking it up there in Music City, man?
Yeah, I love it, man. It's a lot of chicken spots, and I love chicken. Barbecue spots. I love barbecue. I'm not a big barbecue guy, but I deal with it. There's a lot of things going on here. It's a lot of big time schools here, Vanderbilt, Belmont. I'll pick. And what's great about it, I'm a head coach. I know Bryce Drew over at Vanderbilt. Coach Crimmins introduced me to Coach Bird over at Belmont. Coach Bird is a legend here in Nashville at Belmont. I'll be going to his practices, picking his brains. So it's a great situation for me. It's just going to take some time. I've been retired down in Florida, so I played in the league, so I've been all over the world. But this my first time really away from Florida. In many years, about 14 years. So just trying to get used to being away from Florida. I miss the weather. I miss my little comfort zone. But, it's a great saying. You have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. And, that's just what I'm going through right now in the whole process of coaching, new environment, new people to meet, it's just, I'm at 48 years old. Sometimes, you've been stuck in your own ways. It's kind of, hard to break out, but I have to. And I'll be fine. I love it. I love the small, quaint, all the staff people here at Fisk. And just a great family, environment. So it's awesome.
Now, Coach, I'm asking you, how many times have you been to my favorite spot, Knockout Wings on Jefferson?
You know what? I pass that place all the time. I ain't been there yet. Been there.
The Cajun Wings. 12-piece Cajun wings with a biscuit. You're going to love it, man. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. That was a hangout spot back in the day when I was on TSU. It was a hangout spot. Knockout Wings. Right down the street there. So, yeah, man. That's what I got for you, Coach. See, Atlanta went to school here. You played with the Hawks for a year. How was that experience for you coming back home and in your career, kind of playing for the Hawks that 1 year? You played for the Hawks that 1 year. And how did Atlanta help mold you as a person for you to be who you are today?
Yeah, it molded me. I got better memories. That was 2 years of best 2 years of my life going to Georgia Tech, playing at Tech with Brian Oliver, Dennis Scott, Coach Crimmins, Malcolm Mackey. We still all friends to this day. Great friendship with Georgia Tech family. It was awesome. That's where I grew up, my adulthood. And actually, I just left 2005, to move to Florida. So when I went to school down there, I never left. So it was great going to Tech, But the Atlanta Hawk thing was just, I ain't have nothing left in the tank. I was just, like I said, I'm 100. I keep it 100. I just was, playing for a check. I ain't have no more passion, in me, when I was with the Hawks. I didn't know. I was just trying to hang on. That was it. And that's when I gave it up in 2005. I said, I don't want this no more. Lost a passion for it, because of, different reasons. When you get older, up in age, minutes is not the same. They play a lot of young guys. My whole desire changed, as I got up there, in years. I played 14 years. That was probably my 12th year or my 13th, I believe. I'm not sure. But I really didn't have nothing to take. I just was happy to be back home in Atlanta, really. That was my, that's all I did. And then, I just felt it. I knew it was coming because I really didn't like going to practice, I just liked being in Atlanta. My oldest daughter lived there, so it was good. I could be next to my kids. I was dealing with other things more than basketball. I really didn't care about it at the time.
Now, think about this, Coach. You got Vince Carter, 41, with the Hawks, still balling. I'm like, he's amazing to me because I'm like, dude, I watched you when I was their age, and then I'm kind of a little older than they are because I'm 31 now. He's 40. Once like when we talking to like, well, me and him talking about real, so they talking about little kitty stuff. We talking about real life stuff. Me and VC.
Yeah.
So it's like it's crazy him until 20 some years in the game, still out there doing it and contributing at a high level to a degree as well.
Yeah, my hat is off to those type of guys because it seems like he still have the passion. I wouldn't have had the passion, and he took care of himself. You know, his body's in shape, so you got to give them type of guys a lot of respect. And he's one of the best that ever did it. But you know, I always ask. I know the money is decent, the money is good, but I always ask, why would these guys play this long? You know, with the situation he's in, unless you're going for a championship. On a contender, he's not even on a contender, and he's still out
like
there
crazy.
playing. He's playing and traveling and all this other stuff. I don't know if I had it in me. I wouldn't have had it in me that long, but that's why I said you got to respect it.
Yes, indeed, with coaching. That's how I'm Nashville hit you up, man. Come by, hope to see one of your practices, man. See one of your games, man. But I still have my home up there. I still come up there pretty often. So when I'm time to hit you up, coach, we'll get a knockout win too for real. I'll bring you some of my favorites when I get to town, man.
All right, my man.
All right, coach. We'll go talk to you real soon, brother.
All right, thank you.
No doubt.
Right.
Coach Kenny Anderson on the Bossman Show, people. Check him out at Fisk, the Bulldogs.
Till the tears run down from my eyes, Lord, somebody, ooh, somebody, can anybody find me? Somebody to love.
Alexa, play hits from Queen.
Okay.
Somebody to love.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
All right, folks, back in the Joe the Bossman Show. Joe about Nicole Auerbach of the Athletic, talking college football with me here in the Bossman Show. Nicole, how are things with you today, man?
Things are good. Just a little under the weather. It's that time of year, that time of the season, where it all kind of catches up to you.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean about that. The weather is very up and down. It's going to get fall, the time change, everybody sneezing and coughing, and lo and behold, somebody you're going to get it too. So, yeah.
Yep. I am in the middle of that right now.
Well, I appreciate she's toughing out for us here on the Bossman Show down here in the ATL. Now, Nicole, I wanted to ask you these questions about the college football playoff because, down here in Georgia, University of Georgia is number 5 right now, but people trying to project whether they will beat Alabama in the SEC championship game. Will Alabama miss out or beat Michigan? So, let's do this. If Georgia beats Alabama in the championship game, in my opinion, Michigan will be out. But how do you feel about that? Would that be will Georgia get the 4th slide? Michigan will be looking in from the outside.
Yeah, I think that's probably, assuming everything else kind of goes chalk, that does seem pretty likely because I think, a lot of people seem to think that Michigan does control its own destiny here, but I don't because it's the exact scenario that you described. I think the committee has made it very clear that they think Alabama's a really, really good football program and really good team, and they have kept other teams that they beat in the rankings that kind of give them a safety net here. Mississippi State is still ranked. LSU is still number 7, which seems really, really high for them. So they're giving themselves a cushion that if Alabama were to lose, you could still make the case that they believe that they're one of the best teams in the country based on the teams they beat outside of Georgia, outside of the SEC championship game. It would be something we haven't seen yet, but I think the committee has a ton of respect for Alabama and has set up the situation around it to make it so. And because they respect Alabama so much, obviously Georgia beating them would obviously punch their ticket into the playoff there.
Exactly. And Notre Dame is still holding on strong right now at number 3. Clemson is doing Clemson does. I thought they was going to be in trouble after they lost Bryant after he left the team, but they still going strong in Clemson. So let's say the playoff is Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Georgia without Michigan. And I guess Alabama and Georgia would play that first game, I would suspect probably. And 2 and 3 will play Clemson and Notre Dame, right? And do you think that Georgia could beat them again if that was to go that way, if they played them twice? Or Nick Saban make all the adjustments to, and to make that happen? Do you believe Notre Dame can actually beat Clemson as well?
Well, I think they possibly would even, kind of shake that up if those are the 4 teams that eventually get into this. I don't necessarily think that that Alabama would still be number 1 in that scenario, or that that Georgia beating Alabama would keep them at 4. I think then, Notre Dame probably slides down to 4 because they don't have that extra data point in the college football playoff, view that they like those conference champions because they have that 13th data point. So I think you could have a scenario where you don't necessarily see that rematch right away if that's what ends up happening. But I do think, I do think that overall the college football landscape and coaches and everyone that covers the sport and athletic directors all the country, everyone does kind of think that we're headed back for another Alabama Clemson rematch here, just because those two teams do seem to be kind of a head and shoulders above everybody else right now. And, it's just sort of been, we've kind of convinced ourselves when Alabama is playing LSU or Mississippi State's defensive front, or Clemson goes up against Boston College, and we convince ourselves that these are the toughest opponents and that they can really challenge them, and they don't come close to really pushing them. So I think that's part of the reason everyone kind of assumes, even if you have some teams in 3 and 4 spots that aren't good, that there's still probably a big gap between them and Alabama Clemson, which is why it is possible certainly that Georgia could beat Alabama, but Alabama's still going to be very heavily favored in that SEC title game.
Yeah, Nicole, talk radio down here in Georgia has been talking about maybe they should go to 18 college football playoff. Personally, I would like that, not because I'm a Georgia fan, it's because I think 18 is better than 4. So do you think that down the road, maybe 2020, 2021, 22, that we may get the 8 game, and then someone like a UCF could get in there, because maybe you do all the Power 5 as automatic qualifier, who wins the conference, and 3 at larges, maybe to get in, make it an 18 playoff, or so everybody's represented per se in that playoff?
Well, I think, first off, in that hypothetical scenario you just outlined with 2 SEC teams and Notre Dame, that would actually probably accelerate the push for expansion, because you'd have the Pac-12, Big 12, and Big 10 all left out of the playoff. And these conferences and their commissioners, they signed up for this knowing that there's 4 spots and 5 power conferences, but they did not. So they knew they wouldn't make it every year, but they did not anticipate, one league getting multiple spots, Notre Dame taking a spot, and being this left out of this lucrative pie. So I think that there are certain things like that that kind of make that push even more clear. I think what happened with UCF and the kind of public frustration last year of them not even being close enough to get into the mix, it frustrated people, but it obviously wasn't enough to really force that change right now. Everyone I talk to who's involved in those decisions points to the fact that this was a 12-year contract that everyone signed. We're only in year 5. But I believe that the only way to make that change before the contract's up, because I do think that there will likely be expansion when the contract's up to 6 or 8 or however, people present that. But I do think, before that, what could cause change would be more examples like this, where you have one conference getting multiple spots, Notre Dame taking spots away from people, and just these commissioners and these power brokers and powerful, very lucrative leagues themselves not being a part of this playoff. I think that could change things. So ultimately, I do think there will be expansion. I think 6 makes a lot of sense with the top 2 getting a bye. And you could have one for each power conference and then one at large spot. With 8, you can do that, and you can have a group of 5 champion spot. I think all of those ideas are certainly worth arguing, worth contemplating. And, I just think you would make it more interesting to have more people in the mix at this point in the year. I mean, right now, the pool is just so small of teams that are actually going to have a shot to compete for a national championship. And I think expanding that, you'd have more flawed teams, but I think you would have more people interested in things like the weekly rankings and like the unveil on December 2nd.
And then, Nicole, another thing I would propose maybe is less of the bowl games, because I feel like you should not be 5 and 7 in a bowl game, or 4 and 8, or whatever you are. I don't think you should be a bowl game with a losing record, or even at 500 to a degree. I think you should have a winning record to earn a bowl game. We got too many bowl games, I think, if you ask me. And a lot of schools I read lose money on the bowl games if they go to. So I know they want to have the bowl to reward teams, but I feel like it's kind of it's so saturated now that it's not even the same anymore, and that's why guys skip it because if I'm gonna get hurt in this a random little bowl game in wherever part of the world. But why would I get rich one? So I get the NFL draft come up here in April. I'm gonna get hurt for this. No, I'm gonna stop.
Right. I mean, I don't really have a problem with the amount of bowls, but I totally agree with you that I think everyone should have a right to skip them if they believe that there's a risk of injury and they don't want to risk that with their NFL futures. I mean, I think you're going to see that with so far we've seen that with bowls that are not in the college football playoffs, so not those semifinals in the title game. And, the players who are playing in New Year's Six bowls for the most part have played because those are prestigious bowls. But I do think, you're seeing that on lower level bowls, and I think the coaches and teammates and people understand that. You have one chance to make, to get drafted and to really see what your value is in this sport after you're not being paid in college. And I think it makes all the sense in the world to do what's best for you. I do think that people hopefully will stop criticizing those kids for doing that in general. But I think that the idea of the amount of bowl games and the way that they exist and the TV inventory and the viewership numbers they get suggest that they're not really going to drastically change that because people watch, people care, people may not be going to games, and schools may have to, boost some money on that, but they go for the exposure and the experience for the players. And I just think, until you see schools kind of saying no thanks because it's not worth it, they're going to keep doing it. We've seen some schools say, if we're 5-7, we don't want to go, or if, it's just in a bad year, if you're like a Notre Dame, you don't want to go to some low-tier bowl, like you say no. And I think that's fine. So right now we're basically at the school individual level where they can turn that stuff down. Individual players can decide not to play. And I think that kind of takes care of some of those issues. I think overall, though, the model will probably stay because people watch and people consume college football that way in December. And unless the ratings get terrible, I don't think you're going to see a drastic cutback on the amount of bowl games.
And Nicole, now, this is personally for me because Bobby Petrino left the Falcons high and dry. So I find it humorous that he found out that he was fired on his own coach's show. Do you think he's finally done in coaching now? And do you think that Brian Brom is going to take that job at Louisville and that he kind of got what he deserved for what he did to the Falcons and other places, how he left them high and dry?
Well, I think that there's a lot of people who do not feel bad for Bobby Petrino in general because of the way he's left different places. A lot of Arkansas fans would probably agree with that too. And I think there's a lot of Louisville fans who were pleased to see him go and felt that, he was just, they didn't like him personally and morally, and they didn't think that he even, achieved what he should have with Lamar Jackson on his roster. So I don't think there's any love lost there. I'm sure he will end up somewhere. He is known for, his offensive mind, and I'm sure he'll, all these coaches, end up getting recycled and landing other places. So I'm sure he'll be somewhere, probably, maybe at a lower level as a head coach, but, certainly at least as an offensive coordinator. But I do think that Jeff Brom is the obvious choice for Louisville, and they're going to make a hard sell for him. They're going to go after him, and you're seeing, this is exactly very similar to what happened with Nebraska going after Scott Frost last year. It's tough when these jobs open in the middle of the season, and you're going through a season. You kind of have to answer questions about it, but they're saying all the right things, just like Scott Frost did about Jeff Brom is saying he's happy where he is and he's building something where he is, and they're in the middle of the season right now, and that's all you can really say in those situations. But as long as Louisville can offer the kinds of money that Jeff Brom demands in the market, it's going to be a really tempting offer. I think it's a very high likelihood that he wants to go home and go back to Louisville and do this there. And so I think that's the hopes of a lot of Louisville fans and a lot of Purdue fans are very nervous about that because it does seem very similar to Scott Frost in Nebraska. And just there's that one place for everyone where if it opens, that's the only place you got to be worried, and that you can't match. This is not about money. This is not about facilities. This is about home. And so I think that's what, Louisville fans are really, really hoping that pull to home is going to be enough to bring them back one of the most creative coaches in the game.
Yes, indeed. Well, Nicole Auerbach, you did a great job in the Bossman. So look forward to having you again real soon. I love the banter and conversation we had today and the insight.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, folks, that's Nicole Auerbach, Athletic on the Bossman Show. Check her out, people. Athletic.com.
My heart skips skipping the beat. You're not close enough, so that space between you and me, let's lose it. The way you're dancing, swaying to the music, girl, that body and how you move it. Every time you cross my mind, girl, I lose it.
Alexa, play the Country Heat playlist. Okay.
I don't think you know what you're doing to me. You got
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
All right, folks, back on the Bossman Show. Time for Bad Takes with me and Jay Monique. Jay, what's good down in Florida where they got the recount going on?
What's up? Yeah, they got the recounts going on down here.
Yeah, the Republicans turning tricks again, I see, as always.
Yeah, apparently they were trying to, and I say allegedly because I don't want nobody coming back and saying, oh, Jay said this and Jay said that, or that Jay's falsely accusing people. But allegedly they were hiding back some of the what's called the provisional vote. So those are the main things that need to be recounted.
And I think hiding votes would be a bad take, I think.
Absolutely.
That will qualify as a bad take. Like, we don't do that. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, that's wrong.
So,
it's just wrong and unethical.
Yes. Speaking, Jay, of wrong and unethical, I do not like when a service provider, such as a plumber, electric person, roofer, whatever, they cook the clock to get more labor, Jay. They
I can't stand that.
Go slow to tick over the time to get more labor. And when you see them take breaks, take smoke breaks, log their time, or work slowly, take alleged phone calls, quote, look at the manual. Like, first of all, if you're out on a call, why do you look at a manual in your alleged truck, okay? So, service providers cooking the clock. And Jay, to me, and running up the price. I think that's a fleecing of America, and that's bad business to fleece your customer by you deliberately going slow and making their tab be higher. Because my thing is, if you work faster and tab lower, they'll maybe come to you again down the road and not feel like you got over on them by cooking that clock by going slow or taking random unneeded breaks.
Yep, exactly. They know what they're doing, and that's just like you said. That's bad business. That's unethical. It's just plain wrong. That's not cool. They knew darn well that they could move faster, but they just choose not to because the longer that they're out there, the more they can bill you for.
Exactly. It's just so. And also, you know what they do now, Jay? They put in refurbished parts. They don't even buy new parts.
Oh, no.
Put in refurbished parts and charge you new part price.
Oh, no. That's wrong. If they're going to use refurbished parts, then they need to use the refurbished parts price.
So, they're marking up the labor and using refurbished parts. So, because one of the parts I saw on this service call that was at my home, the part said refurbished by some company on this date. You know what the guy told me, quote, that means it's new. No, it is not.
Yeah, refurbished doesn't mean new. It's something that was already used, even if it was just used for just one day or 1 year. It doesn't matter. It's something that somebody else already previously owned, and they just, fixed it up, made it look pretty, and, resold it to you.
And what happens is they sell these defective cores, and they rebuild these cores. Like, especially think about a car. Notice how people rarely ever buy a quote-unquote new alternator, it's always refurbished to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
They don't put that in cars because a new one will cost you your arm and leg. They pitch you the refurbished joint. I'm sorry. I'd rather have new. If a new deal on arrival and fails on me, that's one thing. But I ain't trying to have no known or refurbished thing you trying to sell to me as new. If those refurbished, okay, but don't try to tell me it's new and it's not. I saw it's not. Exactly.
Keep it real.
I know a lot of listeners out here had the same issues with people. And get this. This is a story I got with them, and this is another thing I hate. They say they don't come between the hours of, quote, 12 and 8. Why such a wide window? We'll be there between 12 and 8. So that means I have to block off half of my day for you to literally show up whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I don't understand it. Give me a time. Why is this weird ass range of between 12 and 8? Nah, we ain't doing that, Captain. That's stupid. Yeah, we're gonna be between 12 and 8. What? And then show up.
Yeah, that's too much time.
They show up at 5:30.
Wow.
So that makes you spend all your day be lost waiting on somebody to literally show up. And they do that delivery, come at Home Depot delivering you a washing machine or a refrigerator between 4 and 8 or 12 and 6. Man, tell me a damn time. Like,
exactly.
I get trying to cover your bases, trying to so you don't come off late, but you make people mad when you do that crap because you waste your whole day.
Yep.
Waiting on these jabronis to show up and do their jobs while they trick off, eating Jack in the Box, eating bonbons all day. Like, for real? Between 12 and 8, 12 and 6. Come on, Jay. This crap is stupid, man. It's stupid as hell.
It is.
And then they come to your house and want to be all, you got some water? Hell no, not for you. I've been waiting all day. I'm thirsty. I don't even care. I've been waiting all day. Oh, I'm thirsty. I never care you're thirsty. I don't care. Sir, I'm thirsty. Sir, I don't care. It's like,
man.
This guy is going, like, we want some water, it's bad. No, sir. You want some water, go to the hose pipe. Get something there. Why? If I said so. You have bought a water on your counter. Yes, for me. It ain't for the alleged delivery guy. What do you mean? I'm a delivery guy, sir. No, you're an alleged jabroni. Get out of my face and deliver my damn product.
Alleged jabroni?
Yes. That's what you are. Don't come in my home trying to demand I give you one of my bottled waters I bought from Publix. He was saying, you could have gave me some water. You could be on time.
Right, I was just about to say that.
You cannot be a jabroni, but you are. You are a loser. You know why? You're a delivery man. You're not the man installer. You're the delivery guy. Not the install man. You're just a do-boy. Or nothing. A peon. A loser. Get off my property. Without you.
Oh, man. The amount of hatred you have for them.
Jay, I done accomplished today, Jay. My day has been doing nothing. That's been my day. Doing nothing. Because there's no good jabronis. So let them have it. But it's all good. It's all good. And also, Jay, I want to throw this in there too. Before we get out of here today. Another bad thing I came across. A woman told me she went back to her alleged boyfriend because, get this, he bought her furniture for her new apartment.
She went back to her ex because he bought her furniture for her apartment.
And think that they're going to have a breakthrough because of it. So you trying to tell me this sucker went to Rooms to Go and bought you a damn set or two. gonna solve y'all problems. You talking about for months. You out your damn mind. Okay.
That does not solve problems at all.
He spent all this money on me.
All this money. Rooms to go ain't that expensive.
Exactly. I told her, you're moving out. He's trying to buy you by buying you furniture to keep you in place. That's all a mental tactic. It's manipulation at its finest. And you falling for it. Yep. So, when she comes to me, Jay, with her, it didn't work out between us. I'm like, yeah, because you fell for the okie doke. He bought your ass some damn furniture. You think it's gonna work out between y'all two?
Yep, exactly.
My man went to rooms to go and buy a few sets for her. You hear me? And then she talking about, I think the Blaze and Blase Skippy and Blase Skippy. Oh, man. Here we go.
What exactly did he buy?
A front room set and a kitchen set and a bedroom set.
Huh.
It's messed up. So, folks, this girl crazy. Bad takes crazy. And as we say, Jay, on every show, as always, bad takes get even worse takes here in life and on the Bossman Show. People, have a great day. Jay and I'll be back next week. We are out.
For all your photo, video, and voiceover needs, check out the fine folks at Blueberry Productions. They will take good care of you. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Check out their work at blueberryproductions.tv, the Facebook page, Blueberry Productions, also a Vimeo page, a YouTube page, and it's Blueberry, BLUBERRY, Prod on Twitter. Check them out today. Blueberry Productions, great people, great work, great service.
Hey there, your yard took a real beating this summer. Luckily, Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard has your back. Just feed your grass with Scott's again this fall when the air is cool and the soil is warm. It's the perfect time to give your lawn a boost. If you do, Winter Guard will give your yard the nourishment it needs to help weak, thin grass recover and support root growth, giving you a greener, more resilient lawn both now and next spring. Guaranteed. Grab a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard today. You'll be back to barbecuing in no time. This is a Scott's Yard.
Hey parents, we all try to be extra careful with our children in the car, but then we get an important call or text. Remember, our children are watching. Make every drive a good example. Be in the zone. Turn off your phone. Visit childrenshospital.vanderbilt.org/BITZ to learn more about our teen driver safety program. Brought to you by Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, the Ford Motor Company Fund, and the Allstate Foundation.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.